Okay, guys, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to today's stream. So, I'm hoping the YouTube and Twitch updated because I'm not going to be working on Monaco today. We're going to be working on the map for the new series. So, firstly, hello Kelvin, welcome to the stream. Hello Rocky, welcome to the stream. I hope you're all well. And as always, first question of the day, let me know where you're from, guys. Matthew Games, hello. Yes, finally. Is that yes, finally because I'm finally streaming or because you finally caught me streaming? So yeah, guys, let me know where you're from. Simon Royer, hello. Nice of you to join us. How are you today? So today we're going to take advantage of the newly released Rural Pathways by Mac Welshman. So I've been talking to Mac about these for a little while, and he has kindly put together some beautiful rural pathways, very similar to the way that he done the rural little driveways. But these are the coastal, I think, well, yeah, sorry, he's called them coastal paths, but I've been calling them rural paths. Hong Kong, excellent. Indonesia, Iran, well, we've got a complete flutter of different locations. Romania as well, excellent. Interesting. So yeah, a lot of people outside of Europe as well. Jules, hello Jules, from the Netherlands, excellent. So yeah, these are the coastal paths which are now on the workshop. There's a few variants. We have different size ones with some with fences, some that are plain, and also we have some with grass as well. So let's have a quick look at them, shall we? Let's see what they look like. So these are the coastal paths. This one in particular is the 3-meter fence plant. So as you can see, it's got the fence around it as well, which looks really good. And I think the 2-meter one is just, it's just the way that the fence is spaced out. So you can see it's a little bit closer there. And the 4-meter, yes, we've seen that. Another one there. And the grass one as well, which is very handy for avoiding putting down too much props. So we have this one here, which has the grass around. As you can see, it's got the all of the nice textures as well on there. So yeah, again, another great addition to the workshop by Mac Welshman. So the plan for today is I want to map out some of the coastal walk paths. And as I said, we are sticking to the map itself. So as I say, this is a creation of a map in real life. It's the Isle of Wight, south of the UK, in between the UK and France. So I'm going to try and replicate it as close as possible. Obviously I don't want to copy it like for like, it's gonna not be another Monaco series, but there's some aspects of this map that are really nice and I really want to take advantage of them. So I was thinking this end here, in actual real life in the UK, in Isle of Wight, there is actually a battery here. So if you don't know what a battery is, it was basically like a lookout point during the World War that the island itself was pretty much scattered with, to avoid obviously any incoming ships or planes coming over from Germany, etc. So this section here was actually a battery. There was a few guns as well around this area here, and I want to create the pathways and replicate this area, because otherwise if you was going to create your own map and do it, you know, if you're going to use this map and actually make your own build, there's not really much you put on here. And I like the idea of keeping with the theme of you know, sticking to some areas as it is in real life. So we're gonna work on that today. We're gonna have some paths down. Some of them are normal paths. Some of them we can use these coastal paths as well. So it's gonna be a combination of a few different types along here. But a lot of this is gonna be field and farmland as well. So let us begin then, I guess. So I'm just looking at the map as well. So basically the first thing we want to do is make sure that the terrain is workable in terms of how it's looking. So you can see the cliffs themselves do raise up some of the terrain. So I'm happy to keep some of it like that, but we don't want to make it too difficult on ourselves when we're actually starting to build. So as you can see here, there's actually a bit of a drop around here. Oh, so what I want to do in this particular segment is basically try and get these bits to be level, so we don't have this strange array. So something like that, and then we can hopefully smooth off these corners, because I don't want it to be too much of a big steep hill. It's going to be quite level, the terrain is here. In fact, excuse me, I might actually also try and get rid of this height here. Although saying that actually doesn't work out too bad, because the actual the battery itself does sit in this little nut here, so I think we should be alright with that actually. So I'm going to keep that as it is. I think this is probably smooth enough for that. We'll bring this level down a little bit more, and then we'll try and level it off here. Can you make Indonesia the next series? That would be an interesting one to do, Matthew. And I'll certainly keep it in mind for a future series. Obviously, I've already got 2 series going on at the moment. One of them is Monaco, which has taken a very long time, as you probably are well aware. And this series, we're pretty much just starting. So if it is a series that I do, it would be, you know, sometime in the future, but I'll certainly keep that on the short list of places to do. I'm not sure if anyone's tried to do Indonesia, have they? Is it something that another YouTuber has created, or someone that you've seen posted pictures? Okay, so that's not looking too bad now. We've got a little bit of a dip here, but to be fair, some of these dips actually do look quite nice, especially when we're going to put some pathways along them. So guys, in the chat, let me know if there was one series you would love to see that hasn't been done yet, or perhaps you want to see it redone. What would that be? What would that series be? Is there something, obviously Matthew would like to see an Indonesia based series. Is there anything that you guys would like to see that you haven't seen yet? If you want to make my day and say a UK series, that'd be great, because that's what I'm working on. Okay, so that's that done. I'm going to start placing down some paths, but the first path we're going to put down is actually a pavement based path. So we're not going to be using the coastline paths to start with. We're going to just use the standard concrete pathways here. It's going to be these slim ones as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to start from, I'm going to try and get my measurements right. So we've got this bit here. So it'll probably start around this part here, I would imagine. Let's put that down first. Now one thing I need to do is, I've changed the theme due to Monaco. So I need to go into my theme here, and we need to go and change. I think we need to change one. Which one is it? Maybe not. Is it this one, ruined? There we go, that's it. So the reason I was changing that is, again, then it matches the different textures to be the same, so we lose that sort of horrible edge that we get on these bits, and you can see now this pathway looks so much more better. Okay, so we've got that segment. So this is basically going to run all the way across. Milan or Moscow would be nice. Yeah, that'd be really cool actually. There's a lot of what's it called? There's certainly a lot of Russian assets in the workshop. I remember there was one time where there was a month of someone creating a lot of them. I'm not sure if anyone took advantage of that, but yeah, there was at one stage a hell of a lot of those being done. Okay, so let's wrap this round here. So this pathway is going to come to about here. And then it comes over to about there. So let's get a bit more of a bend on this. In Neville in the Spire series, Silverette did one that was 3 years ago. Yeah, Jules, I do recall that series. It was one of the series that got me into playing the game myself. Actually, I really enjoyed that series he did. It looks such a beautiful looking series that was. He really made it look good. Okay, so this probably needs to go a little bit up. So does that. Lovely white cliffs. Thank you, Maestro. This is a mixture of a theme created for the series by Mr. Miyagi, which is the Dover White Cliffs, and also Avanya's beautiful white textures as well, which we plopped on top. So, getting a very unique look here. Okay, so that's that segment done. We then want to get around here. There is a curve. Goes right back on itself, like here. Let's see if we can tidy this up a little bit. So it's quite a sharp turn, isn't it? So it probably goes something like this. We want to try and space out enough that we keep the width the same as what it should be. So you're trying to build a real place? Yes, we're trying to. Well, we're building the Isle of Wight basically. If you're from the UK, you'll recognise this island just below Portsmouth, in between Portsmouth and France, basically. We're not going to create it like for like, but the map itself is going to be a representation of that, which I'll upload onto the workshop once I've done. But when I start building my actual series on this, I'll do it as close as possible, but I'm not going to copy things. It's going to be a bit more of an inspired build. Okay, so we'll go. So basically, it's around here that the path strips to here. And then we get this bend to about there, I say, and then up, bend it back round, and this is where this path joins up with here. So that looks pretty good. So basically, where we are here is where the guns are. So the guns for the battery will be going here. There's 1, 2, 3 guns here. And then we've got the main battery hub here, but I'm not going to create that in this stage. That's going to be part of the actual series creation. So I'll leave that as it is for now. There's also a building here which we can add at a later time. I think there's also a small little pathway that comes off here, which I'm going to put to about there, and then try and bend that around. So that looks pretty close to what I'm seeing on the map here. Maybe this needs to come up a little bit and get more of a shapey to bend. This bit does actually bend a little bit sharper, like that. but that's looking pretty tidy now. There is actually a little car parky bit here, but that's detailing. That'll be done during the series itself. Okay, so we need to do one more little road here. Now let me have a quick check at these coastal paths, because I think one of them was quite a slim one, which will be perfect for what I'm working on in this segment here. So 2 meter, let's have a look how thick 2 meter is. See, that's really slim. That's pretty spot on actually, but we'll use the plain version of that. 2 meter plain without the fence, I think is going to be a good option here. So where this bit comes off, there is a little pathway that basically continues on here. We need to try and see how well we can adapt this into this shape, because they are 2 different textures. We may have to just add a little bit there to accommodate that. But what happens is this comes to about here. Let's try and straighten it up a little bit. Like so. Okay. Got that there. So it's almost like a direct L shape here as well. So let's try and keep that looking similar. So the house is around here, which means we want to get another bend just here and then up to where I think it's a farm building more than anything. So we've got to work with the terrain here as well. So this is probably a little bit shorter. So that looks good there. Happy with that. Why don't you make a time lapse when you build and post it? I think you do. That will be an awesome video. Rocky, that is a good idea, but I've already done way too much now. And I decided to do it more as a stream. I mean, I could pick the footage out from the streams, but I think what I'm going to do is just do an overview of what it looks like when it's completed. So like a cinematic showcase of the map. I did think about doing the time lapse of the map creation, but a few streams that I did probably wouldn't have looked too good as a video, because there was obviously a lot of stopping and pausing. It would take a long time to edit, so I kind of wanted to do this more as a bonus for you guys who are watching it on stream, which I think is, you know, a nice addition for you guys as well to enjoy. Okay, so it'll be something like that, and then the building will go on here. So that's looking okay at the moment. The only thing I'm wondering now is, should we do it more as this? I'm thinking it's probably going to be better to use these bits. I prefer you make video because people get bored when watching stream. That is true, Matthew, but there are people who also have the time and want to watch things being built live. Live building for the win. Hey Bathro. But yeah, I see what you're saying, Matthew. Some people prefer to watch the videos because it cuts out all the fanning around, so to speak. But a lot of people enjoy that. People like to help resolve live builds I like doing it because I can speak to you guys as I'm building, and your ideas as well, you know, certainly help me make better productions, and gives me ideas that help me out as well. Love me some road placement drama. I know exactly what you mean. Okay, so that's the main core of that pathway. There's a lot, and I mean a lot, of small rural countryside pathways along here as well. So we're going to start to add some of these in as well. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a quick save because we've done that bit now. And you know, the worst thing we want to do now is start building and then lose the save and have to start again, which is always a massive pain. So let's give that a save. And then once that's done, we're going to add some of these other coastal pathways along. So let me know in the chat as well, guys, what are you currently building in City Skylines? Or perhaps you're just a person who enjoys watching the live streams and you don't actually play the game yourself. Let me know where or what you're currently building at the moment. It's always good to hear what everyone else is working on, because Cities is such a worldwide game that, you know, people all over the world are designing completely different things to everyone else, and it's always fascinating to find out what everyone else is doing. Right, let me just see if I can. So looking at this map here to make sure that these are all pathways, and I think they are. Yes, okay. Right, okay, so we need to put down quite a lot of these little coastal pathways, which I know Mac Welshman will be interested to see. Where is this you're building, Pug? Dover? Nearly. It's actually the Isle of Wight. So, similar look compared to Dover, and very close in terms of the proximity of where they are. But, yeah, this is the Isle of Wight if you've ever been before. This is the Needles section over here. So we're just working on the Needles area of the island here, which is where the batteries are, for which were there for the World War. But as this is a map creation at the moment stages, we're not going to be putting down detail of the actual area. It's more the placement down of the paths and roads. Do a bit more sort of tree placement, etc. And then I'm just going to upload this to the workshop, and then everyone else can be building on it at the same time as the series starts. I really want City Skylines and Make a City, but my laptop is potato. That is why I always watch you. Oh, excellent. Okay, well, thank you, Matthew, for spending your time watching with me. Shame to hear about your laptop. Is it something you may want to upgrade in the future, or perhaps you've got a console, you can try and play the console version, which obviously doesn't have limitations. Is this your Brexit preparedness escape to the mainland? We could possibly do that, couldn't we? We could add that in as the title of the new series, or maybe we can call it Brexit to the Isle. So is this actually a moat here? Just trying to look on the map. So we've got all the battery stuff there. Okay, so let's get back into where are they? So I think actually this is a bit shorter. That goes about there instead. Let's have a quick check. Right, okay, so let's get these coastal paths back up. So we're going to stick with the 2 meter plain ones to start with. And we have a pathway that connects from The Isle of Wight, your Brexit lifeboat. Yes, I like it. I like it. Very good. Okay, so let's get this one up and over. So that goes somewhat to there and then follows itself up and around. I'm hoping Mac will join us as well. He did ask the other day when the next stream is, so hopefully Mac Welshman, the creator of these beautiful pathways, will at some point join us for a little chat about them. So we just got to get the levels of these correct as well, so the map works. I really do like these coastal pathways. They do look really good. I can certainly see a lot of people benefiting from these, especially when you put them right against the edge of these as well. It's been so long since I've played this game. I just watch you instead. Oh, thank you, Bath. That's really nice of you to say. It's nice to hear that there's people who've been watching from the early stages. A lot of people remember my British Challenge series as well, which is the last time I built a British series. So map is sweet. Guy did a great job. I actually designed the map myself, believe it or not. Mac was the guy who's just created, I say just, he obviously does a lot of creations, but Mac's done these coastal pathways and he's also done the UK roads, so he's released a whole new pack which is dedicated to UK roads, and also these rural roads as well. So these are like the little British lanes that we get, all these different variants, some with bushes, some with walls, some with fences, some with nothing. But yeah, excellent work, and I'm really pleased with how the map's coming together now. For the first time I've actually created a map. It's working out not too bad, to be fair. So let's see, so that goes across there, that's about right. I think it comes a bit more to there, but your British city was how I found you actually, and a great job you with the map then. Oh, thanks man, thank you very much. Yeah, the British series was one that I started, I think that was my first proper series, to be fair. Obviously, you know, the game's developed and changed a lot since then, which is why I'm so excited to work on this project, because there's been so many new buildings and houses for the UK that have been released as of late. So that's going to be really fun to work on again. Okay, so I'm not going to go too crazy with this. But there is a lot of pathways along here, so I do want to get as many in as I possibly can. So actually I think we need to move this back a bit. It's about there. Oh, new buildings. Do they have any Scottish tenants? I think they. I'm not sure if they're named as Scottish, but there are some new ones around now. Can the GTX 1080 i5 4GB RAM run City Skylines with many mods? I would buy PC for this game. GTX 1080, yes. i5, my processor is an i5, so that's not a problem at all, as long as it's one of the newer gens. 4GB RAM, you want to definitely upgrade that to at least 16. I run 32GB. The more RAM you have, the more assets and mods you can run, is the basics of City Skylines. So I would certainly suggest getting some more RAM. But in terms of the PC spec, that seems pretty good to me. This goes to about there. No worries, Matthew. That's just from my experience. I'm not saying that's a definite, but from what I've worked on, that's pretty much what you need. Now, this is the only thing that I have come across now, actually, is this section. So I need to talk to Mac about that. But we can use something to fill that in anyway. It's like a little cornerstone area. In fact, there is a way around this, isn't there? We can literally just do this. Let's first of all... Yeah, that should be fine, actually. So there's always ways around this in this game. So here, we can just place over the top. So it's not going to be a functioning road, but that's not an issue to me. Okay, so there is what I want to try and do. I think I might have to do it actually in the actual build itself, but that's okay. So we've got this. Right. So I think some of these bits are actually steps on the way up because it's meant to be quite steep up here, but that's going to be quite hard to replicate in the game, so we'll keep it like that. I'm just going to jump onto my other screen and have a look at the map. So there's pathways and there's also coastal pathways here. So there's a lot of places that people can walk. I'm just trying to see where can we go. Let's drop it to here. Got that big path, got a few little ones there, that's okay. Okay, right, that looks good. I hope your channel hits 10k this year. Thanks, Matthew, I hope so. That is the target. I've always wanted to get to 10k. But yeah, it's just nice that people are following, people are interested in the series, interested in what I can produce for them. It's just an all-round nice thing, isn't it? If you can get the community involved as well, even better. Okay, so that bit's there. We're going to do another little pathway off here. Yeah, that's one with a fence. We want the 1-2 meter plane. Here we go. There's a building on this corner, so there is actually, which is that bit. Okay, we've done that. Now there's a little bit that goes across from here to there. We can put that in. That. And sometimes these paths don't actually have to match up to it. Sometimes you do have a little bit of a gap between the two, so that's not such an issue anyway. I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to get rid of that top bit. Drag this down a little bit. I'm going to grab the 4 meter plane and just do this. And go like that. Because the house goes on this corner. This bit goes there. And then we're going to carry on these 3 meter ones from this corner here. Not all paths are proper paths either. Some are just worn by people cutting across the grass. That's exactly it, and that's the kind of effect I'm trying to go for here. Some of these bits here are actually exactly that. So they're actually human-made pathways rather than actual proper pathways. So if you look at this map here that I'm working on, obviously the concrete bits are proper pathways, and all these little ones here we're classing as you put it, Bath or Bath, the desired lines. So we're trying to do a bit of both really here, but that's why we're just using the plain versions rather than ones with fences around it, etc. Just checking on Google Maps as well to see some of these areas. There is a lot of pre-made walkways across here. So I doubt we'll probably get the Sims to walk across these pathways. It's more there for the look, desired look we're going for, which is fine. He knows his detail. I do. So really this house should be a little bit further across, but I'm not going to go into too extreme details here. Does our part go? I guess it is one of my flaws, isn't it? So let's do this one just to get a few more sort of bends around. Okay, so something like that I think works. It is a virtue. So I take it you're from the UK then, Buff? Like that, does it? Sort of. That sounds interesting. Scotland, okay, fair enough. I see. So I'm going to do some coastal pathways, definitely against the coast as well. We'll probably stick with the 2 meter ones and we'll just come out of here. Is that going to... Yeah, it's going to do that same thing, isn't it? Okay, so instead we're going to go and do that. and then we'll go to about there. We can basically just cap that in there. Okay, perfect. And this is just going to go as close to the coast edge as we can. We'll obviously have to change the height of these as we go along. So we can see how close we can get to the edge before it messes with our beautiful cliff faces. So like that. So does that need to be up or down? Needs to go up more. Do the same here as well. Let's see how close we can get to this node. Needs to go a lot higher there. That's kind of annoying. It won't let you go right to the edge. It's just, yeah, it's just the limitations of the game, unfortunately. I mean, some of these bits we can get pretty close. Like this is pretty close to the edge. We could go right over, actually. Some bits we can, some bits we can't. I mean, if we go right over, it's gonna sometimes affect the cliffs. Actually, saying that, it's not too bad, is it? I don't want to do it right up against it. I want to do a few points that are quite, you know, close to the edge. But I don't want to go, you know, right over to it. I think that'll be a bit too close. That's alright though, isn't it? That's getting quite close to the edge. Somewhat scarily close on some bits. Question is though, would you have some sort of, would there be fences around these bits? You'd think there'd be something, wouldn't you? To the cliff edge. See, what we could do is some of the ones that are really close to the edge, we could put the fenced versions in. Or we'll just leave as it is. Yeah, a few close ones, that's right, yeah. So, not all of it, but some of these bits, we can have some sort of close areas. Like over here, we've got a close little corner here. Sort of areas that you can take the scenes in, I guess. Okay, so where this part comes, so I'm guessing that's this bit here. So it kind of splits off here as well. Into two channels. Just put a sign instead of a fence, maybe with a number of those matters. I don't know if that would work with it. Or just a sign saying do not be silly. Or a QR code for the signs. That is true. Although, would you get a signal over there for your phone to be with you? I suppose you don't really need it for QR code, do you? But if the app doesn't work because there's no connection of the internet, well, it might have to be an old-fashioned bit of paper and a payphone or something. I'm sure they probably have an app. There's an app for most things nowadays, isn't there? Okay, so I think that looks good. That's starting to take some shape now. And all these little extra lines and halfways really do make a difference. There's one going from this corner. Where are we? So this corner here, is it? I think this needs to be a bit more higher up and sharper. That's a good point, yeah. So I'm going to do another little pathway from this corner over to about here. So like that. And I'm hoping now if I then add one there and one there, that'll give us 2 new nodes, which we can then move around. Is that right? Yes. Okay, perfect. So we can then bend these around a little bit to make it look a bit more natural. And there's also another one that cuts across and goes along here. Okay. I don't know how many we should do of this. Just want to fill it out a little bit. We just bend them a bit around. Just to make it look a bit more respectable. And I think that looks pretty good now. It fills in that gap. The only thing I'm thinking is there is one thicker pathway all the way through, so maybe we should make this one here a 3 meter or maybe even a 4 meter one. I think we might do that. Let's go for a 3 meter plain one. Easy trying to squeeze them in after. Probably better you add more than edit them out later. I think you're right, yeah. I think we need to have a thicker one here, so I'm going to stick with these ones here. Up about there, then we can delete these. And then move this all up a little bit. And then we can just round off some of these edges. And then we'll carry on this top half as the thicker one. Like that, and then across. Oh, we can just delete them by overlapping them, didn't realise that. Okay, that saves a bit of time. And we go back to the 2 meter one, and then we'll put that there and do a little tag one there to connect up to this bit. Okay, so I think that looks better. Now we've got a thicker one, so this is almost like the more used part. Whereas the other ones are just parts that have been created by people walking along them constantly. Because there are sort of all trees and that around here as well, so that goes there. Actually, we've gone a bit too far based on what we're working with, so we need to basically cut out all those bits. Move that back to about here. Okay, so that road's there. This comes across and it starts to split here, so that's better. I want this to be a bit closer, almost like it's been 2 pathways split very close to each other. Okay. And there is a little shortcutting bit here as well, which will definitely be a 2 meter variant. Okay, I'm not sure why that's going down so low. Nice attention to detail, the path thickness. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that just makes it look better and just works. You could just do it all the same, but it's not like that. Hey Mads, welcome to the stream. How are you? So if we do this and then that and then that. Likewise, gamer. Hello, welcome, welcome. Okay, we'll do that. This is just like a little cut through pathway. I'm not sure why it's there, but it is. If we lower this down, will it find a point where it matches? Nearly. Go for something like that, just so it comes into that pathway. Okay. Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Mads. Good, thank you. Just doing the pathways now. Now that we've got Mac Welshman's pathways in the workshop, we are taking full advantage and trying to get this segment done. There are lots of other little pathways in between, but I don't want to go too crazy on this segment. All the way over basically to this bay. We're going to have to carry on the coastlines, I think. Let's go back to the 2 meter ones. Just keep it going, keep it coming. Does pretty much go right to here, and then it goes down to the level there. Let's raise that up. Be a bit careful of the raising as well, because we don't want it to affect the map itself. Let's raise that up. And this one as well. Can we get that going as well? Yes, we can. I mean, just by adding the pathways along the coast, it just adds a different dimension to the area, really. So there's actually like a little shortcut from the town area here, which is pretty cool. Nice. What is your plan for the stream, and do we know when this new series starts on YouTube? So Mads, the plan for today's stream, it won't be a long stream. We'll probably go for like another half an hour or so. I just want to start mapping out these coastal roads, sorry, coastal pathways, and then really the only other thing we want to do on the map is then put down the rural roads off of these main ones, and then put some trees down, a bit more detailing, and then the map will be ready to start building on. So the new series is probably a month away in terms of when the first episode will be released. But as I said, I'll be creating the whole of the map live stream on here, so you'll be able to see how it progresses. But once I kick off with the actual series, I won't be streaming as much of it. Wow, what paths are those? Hey, not done yet. So these paths are the coastal paths released yesterday, I believe, by Mac Welshman. So as you probably know, the rural roads that me and him are working on, I say me and him, I asked him if he could do something for it. He obviously done all the work for it. So he done these ones before, if you recall. These were released about a month ago. And I also asked, can we get some coastal pathways? Because in my opinion, if you're working on some pathways, one, these are just too thick. How many times do you see paths this thick throughout the countryside? So basically what Mac has now done very kindly is created some different types of pathways. So we've got 2 meter thick, which are these ones. And then there's these ones are 2 meter thick, very slim, perfect for one person to walk across. These are 3 meter and these are 4 meter. So he's done a few versions. He's done the plain version, which is the ones you see here. There's some with fences around it, and there's also some with grass and fences around it. So they are pretty much ideal for what I'm working on right now, which is the coastal pathways. And it's just nice. It's a very nice addition to have when you're creating. So yeah, guys, check that out. Let me see if I can find the link for those actually, because he did obviously issue the link. Let me have a look where he posted that. Share your work, coastal paths. Here we go. Let's copy the link. So these are the coastal paths by Mac Welshman. So check out that link, guys, if you want to see these coastal pathways and get them into your asset box of treasures. Because boy, do they make a difference to what you're building on. Okay, so we got that bit, that looks good. I'm happy with that. I think this needs to come out a little bit more. Okay. And you can actually get really close now. I know we was talking about that earlier, but the pathways can go very close to the edge of these coasts. So basically this segment along here is all just pathways and some trees across here. So the trees are here. I think they need to be a bit lower down, which we'll work on. Let's have a look. So we've got that big pathway there, which kind of goes up here. So we'll carry on the 3 meter one here. And I'm just trying to work out, so if that's that corner there, I'd say we'll go like this. To there. So the second beach here in parallel with is still 2 bits, and it's a little bit further across from there. So about, I would say, here then is where it splits up into a few more little segments. So I'm going to go to there. We're going to go back into the 2 meter ones. Basically go to about there. where these two match up, it then kind of goes into one bit like that. Let's do that. Let's have a little corner there. So we can add little bits in to hide these bits off. I'm not too fussed about that. Okay, looks good. Okay. Although we could do actually just do this. And then that one raises up to about there, that's good. And then this one you can then connect into that bit. Okay. Now I think that looks pretty good, apart from this sharp bend here. Okay, so okay guys, I'm just going to pop to the loo, so I'll leave it in the cinematic mode and I'll catch you in a few seconds. Just take that off first, save it as well just in case it crashes when I'm gone. Save. Let's take off the grid and I'll catch you in a few minutes, guys.
Por ahí tose todas esas poses que tú conoces gracias a mi mujer, ni tu amigo, pero en vivo solo contigo disfruto el show, bebé. pasan por ahí todos y todas esas poses que tú conoces. Gracias a mi mujer, ni tu amigo, pero en vivo solo contigo disfruto el show, bebé. Alright, pasita, dime pa' dónde vas, que yo te caigo donde sea. Eres perfecta mujer, de la cabeza a los pies. Tú pasas de mi nivel, tú tienes el piquete. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. De la forma que tú besas, mami, más simétrica que un origami. Eres perfecta mujer.
Okay guys, I'm back. So these actual, I've never actually used this cinematic camera thing introduced into the game, but it really does make the map look good, doesn't it guys? It's really making it pop now. They do some really good little views, I guess, if you class them as that. I also got myself some Easter egg as well. Who else has got some Easter egg left? Can't be the only one. Okay. Imagine that a useful addition to the game. What's that, Arcos? I ate all mine on Easter Sunday. I've only got one small Cadbury's chocolate egg. And what are they called? Cadbury's cream egg. I've got a few of those left as well. Oh yes, Arcos, definitely, yeah. I know. They do exist sometimes, don't they? For Jesus, you know, of course. It's the only reason we all munch on Easter eggs and go and get drunk, isn't it? We're always thinking of that. Well, because anyway, Arcos, I don't know if I saw you pop in. Did you come in earlier? So basically these trees here are actually a bit lower down with pathways going through them. The settlement here, settlement here. So yeah, these trees are in the wrong place. They should basically... Yeah, he died so we could get that. It's great. I'm sure that's exactly what he thought when he was on his cross. I've been lurking since the start. Okay, no worries, Arcos. I thought I missed you. So we have got the... I suppose we could just put this here for now, can't we? I will change it. I was saying that. It's more of a case of... Actually, yeah, you know what? I am going to get rid of these for now. We'll do a session of tree planting. If we can map out the paths, it'll be easier. So that's that bit that goes down there. I think from here I'm going to do another pathway that connects up to this segment. because there's sort of a focal meeting point where they come together. I think around here. We're probably doing it a bit too realistic, aren't I, guys? Rather than just doing it to make it look good. Okay, so that's that. I think this is actually a road that goes along this segment. So this is this road here. So I think what we're going to do here with this road is actually make it into one of Mac's roads. Well, they're all Mac roads, but you know, one of the rural ones. I think a small 9, is there 11 two-way? 11 two-way. Let's see what this looks like. The good thing about this as well, we could have some of this road being covered by trees, but then it could open up and just be, which one is it? Two-way. Don't want the fence, we want the two-way with plants only. There we go. Have I got, that's weird. So we have some thicker bits and then some slim bits, excuse me. So this comes to here, this is where this bit kicks off. So let's get rid of some of these bits. Let's get this to there. We want to create a little tiny roundabout here. 2 by 2, then we'll shorten it. I want a one-way with nothing. Fence. What's this one? Is this nothing? No. Two meters. Maybe this one then. 1 second, guys. Pick up the pieces that we left unsaid. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't stay here.
Eso me pasa, mami, pa' quererte ver mientras eras ajena y también tu piel en el mismo party, pero otro ser. Estabas más buena que me estremece. Con la boca y placer. Si me toca yo te como otra vez. Con la boca.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. Had a phone call, and also someone decided to come to my door. Alright, so let's go back to the raw roads again. So we want to use, I think it was this, the two-way, wasn't it? Two-way. It will be with the trees. I think it was this one. I think so, yeah. The audacity of them. I know. What do they think this is? Oh, okay. What's happened there? That's better. That's perfect. Then we can put trees around this, and we've got the road sorted then. Although what's happened to this bit? Doesn't look too bad now. If we move that across, it might go a bit better. That's not too bad actually. Although it's going the wrong way round, I think. Should be, oh, that's why, I think. No. Yeah, it's going the wrong way around to start with. Oh, he's putting the blooming things back on. So I want it to have no lampposts. Why is it still giving me lampposts? Okay, that's weird. Certainly don't want it to have that many lampposts. Oh, okay, I know why. It's because I didn't click on it. You have to actually click. That's not okay. That's not the road. That's why. That's why I know now. So we can do that. Perfect. 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 So lamppost. Sorry, not lamppost. Roundabout in place. This is now starting to take some shape. So we've got this road that comes in, and this is the entrance place for what we can be creating a bit later on. save. So there's a big forest over here with some pathways going through it, so we can probably put those down next. Again, there's some coastal pathways here as well. There's a lot of trees around this area, right by this corner beach. So this whole area here is just full of trees. It's all wildlifey sort of tree areas. So that will go across somewhat like that, I imagine. Let's just go to trees just to move some of these across. So round about there, that comes across there. So this area here is blocked off. We need to put some coastal pathway here. So we'll go for the 2 meter plane. Go right up to this edge. Where the road is, it looks like there's also a little pathway coming off here, which I assume matches up to that, but then it also diverts over here. This, it basically eventually catches up this road on this bend to like there, because I think this road does need to be pushed up a little bit more. So something like that. So let's go do a few little bits along here now. Join this one onto here. And I can go to there. Okay. So that adds a little bit there. There is another little pathway coming off here, which is really quite squiggly and bendy. I'm not sure if we'll be able to replicate that. It does go really quite bizarre, almost like this. Let's have a look what we can do. She works out quite nice actually like that. See, when you do bits like this, it really does look more realistic. What do you think, guys? I think from up above as well, it looks a lot more realistic with these little pathways around it. It also just fills in the area a little bit better. I think we can plant some trees around it and it should look a lot more realistic, I think. Okay, so I'm not going to bother with the trees, like I said, right at this moment. We will need to put some farms down as well. But for now, I think we'll just concentrate on these coastal pathways. Now guys, these two bits here, do we leave them like that or do we connect them up to something? I keep looking at it and thinking, does it look right like that? Should these two connect to something or just connect to each other? I'm guessing probably one should go here. Let's do that. I think this one should probably connect into that cluster. So like that. This one here, should we connect it to something? Hey Cardian, or Kodani, how are you, my friend? Does this one need to connect to something? I suppose it could just back off around here, couldn't it? Let's go for another little squiggly one, shall we? Let's try. Just came from France on Tuesday. Oh, nice. How was it? Was it you that said you was going to Nice, Kodani? I swear I remember someone saying in the stream last time they're going to Nice, or near Nice. There you go, I think that's right like that, isn't it? You did? Oh, excellent. Okay, how was it? I'm just going to quickly pop outside because the dog needs a toilet. So give me a few minutes, guys. We'll be back very, very shortly. We went to Monaco on Monday, and on Saturday went to Caniz. And oh, excellent, nice. So how was it in Monaco? Did you go around? Did you spot any areas that you thought I'd done pretty well with? Did you go through the main parts of Monaco? Like, or was it more the touristy areas, or what? Glad you had a fun time. That sounds great. This is freshwater bay here, and that's a road there. So there is some bits that go across here. Okay, so just looking on the map, guys, to see what we need to do next. That. Okay. I definitely think these coastal paths are certainly looking their part now. I really like this looking sort of one where it's all a bit wavy all over the place. Didn't have much time, so you had to take the hop and hop off bus to drive around. I have to say that you have been pretty accurate. Oh, excellent, that's good to hear. Thank you very much for that. It's always nice to hear the place looks like Monaco. Okay, so let's get this road here connected back up. I deleted it because it was easier to delete, then put back together. Is it this road? Yes. There we go. I suppose we probably could just put a little coastal bit here as well. Like I say, I don't want to limit myself to doing things exactly as it is. So we'll just carry on a little bit along here. Hi Ian, how are you? Nice of you to pop by. We are coastal road stroke pathway lane at the moment. They're working really well as well. I'm really impressed with them. And the good thing is I can get these really close to the coast as well from the way I built my coast. I can get them as close to it as possible. So yeah, we've done these bits over here, Ian. So we started placing down this section here. So obviously there's going to be trees around it, etc. But the difference they make, I mean, look, we used the 3 and 2 width ones together, and they look really good. Once we get some foliage around and we've got the farms between them, I think they're going to really make the area pop. It looks so much better. I mean, I kept some of the paths as solid concrete paths because what I'm copying from or taking inspiration from, there is actually a concrete path that they've purposely built, and then all of these ones are like little tiny footpaths coming off of it, all across like the foresty tree area, and obviously all the ones right by the edge of the coast. They're really working well. The only thing I have noticed is if you put together a T-junction, the node basically disappears. So what I've been doing is doing it separately and basically just using move it to plot them into place. So like here, for example, a T-junction won't work, it disappears. So what I've been doing is basically just taking this and putting it on top of each other, getting it aligned, raising it up and down, and it works a treat anyway. So that's the only thing I've noticed, but other than that, they are absolutely spot on. And especially like this sort of bit, the windiness going down this little hill really does look good. If you'd done it with this path, it'd look absolutely awful, but the fact we can now use your beautiful paths really is changing the look now of this part. And they also, I mean, they're footpaths, but also it's almost from a distance, if you use the 2 meter ones, it's almost like they are sort of what pathways that have been created just from people walking along, rather than this is an actual footpath. So they are really working well. How's the feedback been so far on them? Has there been many comments? It's only been on for like 12 hours, I guess, isn't it? If that. They're designed that way. The junction looks slightly bespoke texture. I did think that, Ian, when I saw it. That's why I didn't even bother messaging you, because I was like, well, he's obviously done that for a reason. And in all honesty, like the fact of just clipping them over is perfect. Like it looks so clean anyway. It makes no difference at all to me. And yeah, I can imagine. The textures themselves just look amazing. Especially when we start building bits around like these, for example. I've just used it as the plain ones rather than having the foliage around it. But there's some that I will be using, obviously, the foliage around. It'll probably be a bit of a mix and a match, I guess, which ones I use. Like here, these ones I probably could have used the ones with the grass and fences around, but we'll see how it looks. We can add and change things as we go along. But yeah, how's the reaction been so far, Ian? Has there been many comments or anything said about the coastal roads? that bit there. So we need to do coastal path probably from here. Zachary, hello, welcome. We'll do the 3 meter plane here. There's lots of farmland around this section here. So let me try and work out what we're doing on this bit. So this kind of goes down here. There's a few little bits that come off of it. So let's go back to the 2 meter ones here. And then we'll basically flip that around. Connect it to there. Let's lower this down. Like that. So just adding these extra little stalks of pathways just changes the dynamics of it. Need to obviously get this fixed here, which I think will be a different method to what we're trying to do here, so that's fine, we'll leave that. Start to get some of the pathways down to the beach sorted as well. I'm working on correcting the road lods at the moment. Okay. Guessing we can probably get this pathway here. Come around here. This could meet itself down to where the beach front is. So can we raise this up a little bit more? That's not too bad. Get this back into shape. I love these fences. They look so damn good. I think that's the only annoying thing, Ian, that you can't upgrade these once you place them down. If they had an upgrade version on here, like they do with the roads, it'd make life so much easier. I'm not sure why they haven't. Seems a simple thing to do if they've already done it for the roads. Isn't it the same sort of complexities in the actual game itself? Full meter plane, there we go. Match that up to here, and there we go. But yeah, I do love these. Such a cool thing to be able to add. Just think how ugly this would look if we had to use the standard pathways. This is definitely something that's been missing from the game for quite some time. Let's give it another save. I'm probably only going to be streaming for another 10-15 minutes. Been going for a couple of hours now, I think. I've got a few things to sort out this afternoon, so we'll go for another 10 minutes and see how we get on. But yeah, the series itself, so I reckon we're not too far away from completing the map, really. I'm just being picky about what we do. I did off camera get the ferry to work back and forth, so I'll be adding that in before the game is saved in terms of being on the workshop. So I think what we'll probably end up doing is we'll add some of the rural roads around, some of the farms I think we may add. That's a question to you guys. Should we add the farms before we offer out the save game, or should we do the farms as episodes and people can add them themselves? I like the idea of having the farms. But we'll have to have a think about that one, I think. That's a bit straight, isn't it, that bit there? So Mac, what is your next challenge? You obviously have done the beautiful motorways, British motorways. You've now done these coastal paths. You said you're working on the LOD for the roads. What's the next challenge? You're going to be back into house building, UK buildings, or do you have something else in mind for your next project? Because I mean, you and Rick 4000 together have been pretty much demolishing the segment of UK buildings and assets. There's not really anyone else who's pushing the UK stuff as heavily as you guys, and I'm guessing your collection list is probably getting quite full now, isn't it, in terms of UK assets, which is great because that's the pack I'm using to create this this build with, so it works for me. Irritating, yeah. This doesn't make sense to me, really. Why would you not do that for that and do everything else? Strange. Let's see if we can. Not sure. Did you need any buildings for the island? That's a good question, actually. And there is some buildings, which actually, what we'll do. Let me save this. And we'll jump over to the second screen, and I'll show you the sort of things that I saw that would be nice to have. I'm not saying that I'm demanding that we have some of these buildings because they're very unique to the island, but. Let me have a look. It depends on what mood you're in as well. Okay, so that's saving. Let me move that over there. Let me go to here. Okay, so. Let me have a look. So, in terms of what there are, let's have a look. Let's go for landmarks, Isle of Wight. So I haven't looked at these before. There is these sort of buildings. So there's the Osborne House and Carisbrooke Castle, which are very unique to the island. Osborne House is a big focal point for the island. Let's see if I can find some pictures to see how hard it is. So yeah, Osborne House is I'm not saying it's similar to the Monaco builds, but it's, you know, a unique building, that's for sure. I think that'll probably be quite a big project, wouldn't it, for that sort of thing. It does remind me of the sort of Monaco build. Now I see more pictures of it. It's a big sort of manor house, basically. So that's the Osborne House. What else have we got? Carisbrooke Castle. So we got this, St Catherine's Waterbury Lighthouse, Big Rock, Yarmouth Monument, lots of monuments, Brembridge Windmill. I'm sure we can find a windmill. You're scaring me. I mean, the good thing is about the Isle, it's kind of, you know, there's a lot of things that are just UK buildings. There's not a huge amount of landmarks, really. We've got the Needles, which I've already done. What else is there? Not really. I was hoping there'd be a website that just shows you them all. Lots of farms, cathedrals. Sven, yes I am. Well, it's going to be, I'm not going to copy it like for like, but it's going to be, you know, a very similar representation of it. Now that'd be pretty cool. A model village. Imagine building a City Skylines model of a model village to be then put onto a project. St Catherine's Lighthouse, steam railway, which we'll be doing. UK piers. I wonder if there's any half decent piers we could use. So yeah, Osborne House is obviously a huge project. Got whatever this is. Needles we've already done. Carisbrooke Castle. An interesting sort of one. Not really showing many pictures of the castle. There's not actually that many castle things on the workshop, are there? God's Hill Church. I think there's a few churches already on the workshop that would be good for that. In-game call it Arrow's Needle. Why is that, Mads? Well, Mac, there could be something like, you know, just standard hotels, like small sort of bed and breakfast hotels. Adapting some of your buildings to look like hotels would be quite a cool thing for the UK projects. There's a lot of, you know, apartment-y hotels in the island. Look, we don't really have hotels for the UK. Hey Valon, hey, what's going on? So we're just at the end of the stream, pretty much. We're just looking at what sort of buildings we need to find the workshop for the new project. let's have a look. Let's go back to Google Earth. So yeah, Mac, I'm not sure if that's something that would ever be of interest to you to do some more sort of bed and breakfasty sort of looking building stroke hotels. Because let me have a look. So if I think of a place that I've been to on the seafront from Game of Thrones. Oh, okay. So let's see. So if I look at show me. Okay, I'm just trying to see if I can find something. This is the seafront. Okay. So this is a little way to get down. So these, I think, could be a good if it allows me to go onto it. So these are like typical hotels for the island, I guess. These sort of things. You have like it's almost like a house that's been converted, I guess. Is there a hovercraft boat on the workshop? There is, Sven. There is. I've already tested it out and it works, so I can get that to go up and down a shipping yard, which would be pretty cool. So it's things like this, Mac. You know, they all look kind of the same sort of look in sort of little hotels. I mean, I'm not saying it needs to look exactly like that, but something that resembles a UK hotel rather than the ones in the workshop we have are basically what I think there's a few branded ones, aren't there? Like Holiday Inn or whatever they're classed as. There's not really any holiday hotels on the workshop. Maybe that could be something of interest for adapting some of your models to look more like these. I'm not sure. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head for the island that would be quite cool and that's not on the workshop already. See, these look like some of the buildings you've already done, so that's pretty good to add in already. I don't need to have anything like that. These will just be placed straight away. It's more for hotel-y ones, I guess. Let's have a look at some of the more populated areas. So there's anything in Sandown. Or restaurants as well, seafront restaurants. So this is like a big hotel. The sort of typical ones you see, but there's also like the amusements. I think someone did do some amusements at one point on this workshop, but there's all these sort of bizarre buildings. Yeah, there's probably some on the workshop that you can combine together. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just a case of just digging them out, really. But yeah, I'm not sure what excites you at the moment in terms of builds. Just asking, have you watched Endgame? I'm actually watching it tonight. It's in the UK, it's on tonight for the first time. The premiere, whatever it's classed as. So I'm going to go and see that in about 8 hours' time, actually. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to be it for today. Let's go back into the game just to show you where we're at. So for you guys that have joined late, we have started to lay down the coastal pathways created by Ian Jones in the chat, Mac Welshman. And yeah, things are slowly starting to take shape now. Now we're getting these down, things are looking a lot more realistic. Let's Get rid of the road pathways. Hopefully we can see some of this cinematic view, but as you can see, here we go. These are Max UK build roads, which I can't wait to start getting buildings around. They look so good. But yes guys, I think we're going to end it there. It's 1 o'clock, I'm getting hungry. Thank you all very much for joining. Ian, very nice of you to pop by, and I'm very happy with those rural pathways, and I'm sure a lot of people are. I did actually have a couple of people come in before you joined asking about where they're from, so they had the link. They should now be subscribed, so I think they're going to be a really good thing for the workshop, especially for us detailers. So thank you all very much for your time today. There's a little new series, well, possible new series starting on the channel later on this evening, so check out that video. Let me know your thoughts on that. Just a little bit of fun. Not sure if it will follow through as a full series. It's just a pilot idea, but obviously my main series will still be Monaco, and once this is released, this series as well. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your days. If you want to jump into the Discord and carry on conversations, you're more than welcome to do so. Let me just grab the link for that. So you're more than welcome to drop into the Discord at this link, continue chat, see teasers, talk to whoever you want to who's in here. And yes, next stream, not too sure when we'll do one. It's, what is it, Thursday today, so maybe one over the weekend. Otherwise I'll keep you updated on both Discord and Twitter with some screenshots. So guys, thank you all for your time, have a good one, and I'll catch you again soon. Thanks for watching, and all the best.